Yes, since we have a ton of questions and we're capping this at an hour, anything left over will be put into another AMA. We can answer some questions in text in the AMA questions channel, and we can also have a video session with Drago for all the technical related questions that we don't get to, which we'll then throw up on our YouTube channel. All right, so I think we can begin. Thank you everybody for coming, and I assume more people will be coming through over the next few minutes. This is our first AMA since, I believe it was June, when we were doing the migration to Avalanche.
Yep.
So around 2 months, maybe 2.5. So it's high time for another one. Looking forward to seeing what people asked and answering to the best of our abilities. We have myself, our chief game developer, Dragoslav, and our lead Solidity developer, Cajun. And we will be asking questions. Riptide's got a bit of a cough that just didn't go away, so it'll just be us three. So let's see. First question, bot spam. I think we got that covered. Is there a plan to get Magic listed on a centralized exchange dependent on us selling all 10K elf characters, or is it not conditional like that? Great question. We'd love to talk a little bit about VCs and centralized exchanges, because this is a conversation that I've been having with the VCs since, say, May. And so the plan is to get both Magic and Cosmic on a centralized exchange. I'm not going to mention which one we are focusing the conversations on, but the VCs that we're speaking with, which there are two major ones, they recommended, especially one recommended, that we combine Magic and Cosmic in a listing request together, because that'll give us the best deal. And it also will expose both of our governance and utility tokens to the largest investor base. So what you need, according to what the VCs tell us, is not that you need to sell X amount of NFTs, but that you need a sizable amount of liquidity so that it would make sense for VCs to actually participate in your project from an investment standpoint. And that also makes sense for the project to wait until there's a sizable amount of liquidity, so that any VCs that are investing, if that was to happen, would not have a large percentage. So that is what is the main thing. And then the VCs have been working with us, getting us in touch with market makers. There's various different market makers that will help once we're on the exchange to ensure that there's solid amount of volume. And what's really hinging on all of that is just raising our liquidity, which also is very dependent on the macroeconomic situation and also the more localized situation in cryptocurrency, and also strategically planning for a SEX listing when the economy is doing better, when the market is doing better. Otherwise, you list your token on an exchange right now. I saw another, I think it's an MMO that's on Avalanche, and they listed their token a few weeks or a couple months ago, and it was basically just going downhill from there, not because they're a bad project, they're awesome, but it's just that a time in the market, it's just not a good time to list. But all the conversations should definitely be going on right now, which is what we're doing. So these two VCs are very enthusiastic about us because they see the vision, they see already what we've delivered, and they went on it. They want in, but we also are strategic and prudent in the sense that both of us and the VCs do not want to get into any partnerships where we're exchanging money, because this is just not the time, ideally, to do that, especially with the amount of liquidity we have. So hopefully I've been looking at indicators, and it looks like by November, markets should be bottomed out. We see that the markets fell today a little bit. There was signals yesterday of that was going to happen. So we're getting there. We're getting close to the bottom of this cycle, I believe, from what I'm seeing. And then soon thereafter, it's going to be much more likely that we'll see us on an exchange. And one, I'll add this, that it's available to US customers. And that is something that was very important for us when I was looking through all the options. So that's something that we're very excited about once the time comes. All right, I think we got that question done. And the next question, can Wizards play in the upcoming Dawn of Krypton game? And do we get daily check-in rewards? So I'll take this one since Riptide isn't here. Yes, Wizards and Elves will be playable in the minigame. We wanted to design Dawn of Krypton as a minigame where basically all of the assets, NFTs that we have sold and offered for sale will be playable, usable in the game, in the mini game. And we are putting out this mini game, which you'll see very soon, because the MMORPG is a massive endeavor and pre-alpha is still a bit of a ways later in the year. I don't want to say a specific month to just give us more breathing room, but it's coming up soon, but it's not soon enough where we want to just provide more utility for people. Because I know that's something that I wanted to see. That's something that everybody wants to see. So yes, Wizards, Elves, Cosmic Island Lands, and other NFTs are going to come into play in Dawn of Krypton and Elven Adventures. And daily check-in rewards. The daily check-in rewards are specific to the MMORPG. So those daily check-in rewards that you see on the marketplace with you're getting a plus 5%, all that is going to come in the MMO. Whether that's going to be the full release, the beta, or the alpha, that's still to be determined. I believe that we're going to be testing those features out prior to the full release. So my guess would be alpha or beta, but that's still TBD. And as far as like the more specific details about how the bonuses are going to work, that's also something that we're going to have to be testing out to see what ensures that the in-game economy is as balanced as it can be. So we're going to be testing out a few things. When it says a 5% bonus, we're going to test out a collection of things that result in a 5% bonus for that player in, be it a combination of resources, cosmic, and other things. Let's see, the next question. Will we be able to level common professions? Let's say we have mining, crystal extraction, and gem cutting. Will you also be able to farm and fish for food and level cooking? So, if I understand the question correctly, it's asking if we're going to be able to level up if you have 3 common professions. I would have to see about the details of that, but from what I understand, yes, you can level up common professions. You can level up any profession. You can level up any profession right now. You could have 3 professions that are common, 3 professions that are crafting, and so on. Or you can have a mix of them. But yeah, we can probably elaborate that a little later.
Yeah, probably.
All right, let's see. What's the next question here? Oh, apparently I released something that clarified it. Yeah, there's a little list of professions that work together, assuming you have 1 character, and that's on our disc Medium. We have an article on character professions, so you can take a look at that when you, if you have any more questions about that. All right, let's see here. When will Cosmic most likely gain utility? Awesome question. I've wanted to see Cosmic with a utility for a while, and I was petitioning for it to get into Dawn of Krypton. So that is where we are going to see Cosmic begin to see its utility function. And the specific way is to be revealed, but yes, within the next month or so, we're going to finally get that utility we've been looking for from Cosmic. So that's something I think a lot of people are going to be excited about. Question about the AVAX quote-unquote leak and law firm. That's, I think, been explained very well by AVAX. Turned out to be basically FUD by ICP, a project that is trying to basically create a controlled internet. No surprise there that they're trying to do something shady like that. And Avalanche had an amazingly well-written rebuttal to that. So I think that's also why we saw Avalanche skyrocket right back up and regain all the ground it lost for those couple days. So if anybody wants to know more about that, take a look at what Avalanche wrote. I don't see any issues with that at all. In Cosmic Universe, what is the difference between Cosmic and Magic tokens? How does it work in the platform? And what is the use case for Cosmic and Magic tokens? Well, I would just direct you.
Link.
Yes, we have all the information on our encyclopedia, which is growing all the time. It's a massive repository and resource hub that I recommend anybody who's interested in the project or has questions, take a look there first, and it may be answered there. Another question, will alpha gameplay grant access to entire Cosmic Island map for participants, or some plots still will be off limits or in development? So I'll probably defer this to Dragoslav, but just to be clear, we have different phases of development for Cosmic Universe. There's going to be, because it's an MMORPG, it's a lot of work, there's a lot of moving parts, it's going to take a bit of time to release everything. We're going to have a pre-alpha, which will have multiplayer and blockchain integration, won't have the full map yet. Alpha, much more likely. Beta, I would say so, but Dragoslav could probably add a few words as to the kind of like rough idea of when will the entire Cosmic Island map be open, including the full city of Enchantaria. So you want to take it away, Drago?
Yeah, sure. So by my definition, what would qualify as alpha, we should definitely have the whole map done. If you want me to go a bit into detail, what consists of the map being created is also the users, the players themselves, because eventually we're gonna have an ability for users to customize some of the things themselves, and so they are gonna be taking part in decorating the map itself. But from developers' perspective, from our perspective, the short answer would be yes. We're gonna have the full Cosmic Island map by the time when we say, okay, this qualifies as alpha version.
Excellent. All right, so alpha it is. Yeah, that makes sense to me. That's what I was thinking as well. Next question. Does the team have enough funds to last an extended bear market? I would say short answer, yes, but long answer is, well, what do you mean by extended bear market? The worst case scenario for the markets, from what I understand, would be a 2-year bear market, which that would also be determined by when you consider the bear market to have begun. If you look at 2018, I believe that was the longest bear market. We never had crypto live through a recession, even though they're not really one to call it a straight out recession. So it may not be a full-on recession. Reports indicate that this is very similar to an early 80s recession, which lasted 8 months. which on our timeline will put us to March 2023. Yeah, that would be totally fine for us because we have, besides what we have in treasuries, we have other upcoming actual utility-based offerings like the minigame and like the pre-alpha and alpha and beta, and then the full release, which within a 2-year time span, even if it took another year or a year and a half or what have you, we would still have enough funding based on those indicators. So for right now, we're good. And we just had to go leaner, like every project had to go leaner, and just be more strategic with how we spend money, cutting costs where we can cut costs and focusing the funding on the game development, because now we're done with the migration, we're done with the game demo, we're done with Wizards and Elves and 3D modeling. Like all of that took a lot of time, a lot of effort, dedication, but it's all done finally. We can now move forward. We're working on finishing the Cosmic Island map. We're actually now currently developing an Enchanted Forest, and I saw some alpha yesterday from that, and it looks very cool. I'm really liking the direction it's going. Really like the addition of more streams and other features that you may not necessarily have thought would be there. So that's what we're focusing on. This is a time where projects that want to survive and want to become leading projects on the other side of this market will be putting their heads down and developing less hype, more developing, under promising, over delivering once the time is right. So that's what we are focusing on right now, being strategic with the marketing, doing marketing that makes sense, because right now throwing ample amounts of money at a marketing agency, for example, that wants to get $50,000 or $100,000 from you just is plain stupid. So yeah, we have enough funding to be strategic and lean and get our offerings out that are going to provide gaming utility to players. And I'm really looking forward to us coming out on the other side of this, being basically a household name in blockchain gaming. All right. When is the map fixed? Will we ever see a latest sales on the dashboard back? Cajun can articulate the map situation for those who are looking for a map on the marketplace that we used to have. Long story short that I'll give, the Cosmic Island has suffered from severe flooding due to Harmony's implosion, and I think you can take it away, Cajun.
So the original map was made with Pixie.js, which is a pretty heavy library that was used simply to make squares. And it was a great implementation for what it was with a pre-existing collection. But once the migration happened, it looked like we had Hurricane Katrina. So there was no data to fill those gaps. It caused crashes in the browser. It caused confusion for the users, so it was disabled. And instead of re-enabling it in its broken and potentially never back to whole state from users that have gone MIA on Harmony, we are looking into alternatives that can be leaner and have a better experience. There's something for React that lets you build maps based off of shapefiles, as well as a few different React type response options that will allow us to have all of those same experiences that you had with the old map, but prettier, and the ability to zoom in and out and get hover colors and things like that without the bloat that we had from the old map. The negative is that it is a lot of data that needs to be pulled from the land NFTs themselves. And so the block is not the map itself. It is holding, in a perfect world, over 30,000 NFTs across characters and land, all in one browser instance, all at once, as we're pulling from the chain. it's something that's being poked at as time permits, and the solution will come. And once it does, that feature will immediately be turned back on.
Right. Yeah. We all want to see a map. We want to see where our plots are in relation to other plots available to strategize our settlements. But as you can tell from Cajun's response, it's not as simple as just clicking enable and having the map back. It's going to just take some troubleshooting, and last I saw yesterday, we are making progress with that. So that'll come back for sure. Next question is, any deets about rewards in the new minigame? Details about Dawn of Krypton, Elven Adventures, and the micro games that we're going to have in that is going to come the next week or two. Starting, we're going to start releasing some alpha about Dawn of Krypton. So yeah, we'll provide more information about that soon. And question, is the progress made in the minigame transferred to the actual game when it launches? So I think we had a short conversation about this yesterday on a really long call we had with Cajun and Drago. I believe the answer was yes, right? Because we're going to be doing this in Unreal Engine.
Yes, this is scoped more to profession levels question that's just been put under the umbrella of minigame, but just like the professions for wizards are going to be kept going into the game, so too will the elves progression.
Right, yeah. Will our characters always have the same facial expressions, or will there be some way to change them, like make them smile or react with a change of expression? This may or may not be related to my elf lady having a resting witch face expression. So, Drago, want to discuss the...
I love that question, and shout out to Phoebe. She's great. For this particular one, unfortunately, the answer would be no. There will be no changes. I mean, technically we could make them, but the way we made characters in such way are that they are meant to be looked at from third-person perspective, and frankly, you're gonna be rarely seeing their face expressions. If you wanna close up on them, well, maybe Phoebe shouldn't be doing that because of her character's resting witch face expression, as she puts it. But the short answer would be no, because of optimization reasons. And facial expressions are driven by something that is called blend shapes. If we were making a first-person game, it would definitely be something within the scope. But since the game, being MMO itself, is meant to be, like I said, looked at from third-person perspective, so not that close into character's face, we just are not gonna be covering that, I would say.
Right, yeah. And she had a follow-up saying, will the seasons on Cosmic Island change according to time passing, or will some places just stay tropical where the fruit trees grow, or wintry like in the Mystic Alpines, etc.? Yeah. So no, the seasons aren't going to change. They were the map was designed specifically in a way so that there's different climates in different areas. So Mystic Alpines are always going to be more like an alpine climate, and Elysian Fields are mostly going to be like a state of perpetual summer with some tropical beaches on the south. So you can always count on the seasons to be constant, but we will have obviously a dynamic day-night cycle, which is really neat. If you play the game demo that we have out, you can see that in effect, and we'll be tweaking that over the coming months to ensure that the day-night cycle looks as best as it could be. All right, let's see here. Will we see new backgrounds around the elves? The elves are here's why the elves didn't have a galactic backgrounds like wizards. So originally, Cosmic Universe, for some Cosmic Universe history here, was not originally going to be an MMORPG 3D open world game. It was much simpler in scope, and that's why we had 2D gamified avatars, as we were calling them, which were the wizards, the 2D wizards, which were more like a cartoony avatar that you would have. It would show up in your kind of like your dashboard, your bar, when you're playing the game, and the game was going to be much simpler, like a top-down adventure RPG. But I teamed up with Dragoslav and his brilliant mind, and he was really the one that was able to open the doors for us to create a full-blown open world MMORPG in Unreal Engine. So I was looking for someone, and he came up, and we were talking about, let's make the wizards 3D, and since they already had a background in the 2D versions, we wanted to keep everything the same for the as far as like NFTs go. We wanted to just keep it as accurate as possible. So we matched everything up as close as we could, including the backgrounds. But if we never had the 2D wizards, they would also have backgrounds like other games with 3D assets have. So with the elves, since a background trait isn't necessary in the game, because what you're buying when you're buying an elf is the actual 3D model. You're seeing a screenshot freeze frame of the model, but the model is actually yours. And we're going to have opportunities in the future where that 3D model file will be coming very handy. Anything you can do with a 3D model, you'll be able to do with it. 3D print it if you want an elf in your house or what have you. You're going to be able to do all sorts of really neat stuff for that. But I won't say any more about that for now. Will we have storms on Cosmic Island? And if there is ever a desert land, please create haboons, even if they're rare. Well, the premise of Cosmic Universe is that it's an entire universe of worlds. So we are starting off with one island, and then we're starting off with one planet. But if and when we scale to tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of players, and beyond maybe even, then we're going to have a multiplanetary universe / metaverse. So a desert island, a desert planet, more likely, would be possible, and I can just put that on the list of ideas for the future. So thanks for that, and we'll see what comes from that maybe. Another question, will you implement VR into your game in the future? Had been so awesome to walk around in your beautiful world. So VR, I think Draga will have to answer this one. I'm assuming it's technically possible, but obviously that's like, we'd have to get our full release out first, and that would be down the road. But Drago, from a technical perspective, is VR implementation, strapping on VR goggles and just being fully immersed in Cosmic Universe, is that a possibility?
Yeah, so some of the things you've covered yourself. VR is something that I actually mentioned like months ago. It was like January or February when I was brainstorming things with you, Wiz. We could develop something in VR, but the thing is, we first need to focus on the main game itself, which is gonna be for Windows PC and other platforms, also Dawn of Krypton. Another key point would be how many people are actually interested in having a VR experience. So if we are gonna make something just for a couple people, I'm not sure if that would make sense, but if more people are interested and into that, we could do that. From technical perspective and technological, if we have abilities, yes, of course we do have. But and I could personally come up with many ideas for VR specifically. It would be extremely hard to bridge platforms together, although not possible, but not to give any false promises and then afterwards disappoint anybody. The final answer would be we could, but we are not gonna be thinking about that because we need to focus on the main game, on the main scope itself.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's what I was thinking too. And this person had another question. How will it work with renting out our lands and wizards to other players? Will we get a certain amount of magic or cosmic based on our type of land or skills on our wizard? So, for those who don't know, we are going to have a rental program for both playable characters and land, because we understand that not everybody will be able to necessarily afford a wizard or an elf on the marketplace or by minting. So we want to provide as much access to players as possible. So we're going to have a rental program. And first, I'd also like to mention, because maybe I don't think we have really mentioned this too much, but our game is going to be free to play. So you do not need a wizard or an elf or land to play. We want to make it accessible to everybody. So free to play means that you'll be able to play with a kind of like a pretty generic character and a very limited scope of what you can do in the game. But like in the game demo, which is also free to play, you can get a sense of the game and what it's like, what the world's like, kind of like a try before you buy sort of experience. And then when you get a wizard or an elf or so on, you can have more questing available to you. And when you have land, you can have all the questing available to you, the full gameplay experience, if you will. So the rental program, we have been amassing quite a sizable collection of wizards and some elves. I think we have about 5 elves so far, but we have hundreds of wizards that we've been collecting up to put into the rental program for this very purpose, to make the game more accessible to everybody. And as far as like the specific ways about how other players can rent them out as well, it's going to be the same system, although we're still working out all the details. So will you get a certain amount of magic or cosmic based on your type of land or skills? That's getting into more specific details about how the pricing would be. We want to make it in a way where players get to decide and determine how much magic is required to rent out elves or wizards that they're renting out to other people. And the same thing will go for land. In our marketplace, what it's likely going to look like is that there's going to be a column where it's going to say rent or rental, and you can check that off. You can then add in how much magic you want that one to be going as far as rental, and for how long, basically all those sort of details. And also, when it comes to land and characters, there's going to be a land level and a character level, and then a profession skill level. So those are the 3 kinds of levels in the game. So based on that, it'll be up to the player to determine how much they believe that character is worth, that land is worth, based on, let's say it's like a level 7 wizard with level 45 in gem cutting, level 7 in farming, and level 16 in architecture. Well, that's going to be some math that you're going to have to figure out to decide how much value your character is and go from there. So it'll be very interesting to see how people price things out. But yeah, that's the story about that. We're going to have more information about the rental program later on, but it just doesn't make sense right now because it's still too early. But we are making preparations so we can have the assets available for that program. So let's see what the next question is. When will the time crystals be minted on AVAX, still stranded over at Harmony? Yes, Cajun and I have been talking about that. We don't have a specific timetable that we can provide you, but we have started working on it. Cajun, do you want to give a couple extra details about the stranding of the time crystals and the badges on Harmony and getting them over?
Yep. So, as a preface, we are going to be implementing ERC 1155s into our ecosystem for a lot of the assets and resources and tools that y'all will be using in a large capacity but don't need their own ID. So you don't need tool number 75 and tool number 76 because for all intents and purposes it is used and then discarded. So badges are one of those. And that will start with us finally lifeboating all of the badges that were on Da Vinci Gallery over to Avalanche. That means that when the migration happens is when we're going to take that account of everyone's ownership, but so that no one feels the need to go and unsafely connect their wallet to that site. I've gone and I've looked incognito with a randomized wallet, and there is nothing for sale. There is nothing available. It's just a list of what's there. So please be safe and don't unnecessarily expose yourself. They're coming soon, though.
Yeah, they're coming soon, and yeah, be safe out there, especially because of what happened on Da Vinci already. So another question is, will early adopters be able to change their pre-selected professions to a new one or in a short time frame after the game is released? If so, well, that's irrelevant. So Mia, I have to be the one to break it to you. You cannot change your professions once you have had it upgraded to particular professions. So if you wanted to get new professions, you would have to just get another playable character and create upgrades on that one. So right now, we're allowing all players, currently wizards, but soon elves, to upgrade to 2 professions out of 3 total per character. And once the game is live, we're going to open it up to 3. So that means that you can have one of each in each profession category. But if you were like, oh, my strategy, I wanted to change my strategy, well, you'd have to just get another character or buy one on the marketplace that already has those professions unlocked. So let's see what other questions we got here. Can we have a delivery service for packages in Cosmic Universe? Delivery service for packages.
Maybe something like courier in Warcraft. I'm not sure what the use case for that would be.
Yeah, who's sending you mail? I don't know. Are you getting I don't know, care packages from somebody else, a secret admirer? We can put this on a list of things to take a look at, but I have no idea about the use case of a delivery service. So if somebody knows, feel free to share it. Apparently it's in World of Warcraft. All right, I'll go with the next question then. I noticed that farming needs land to use. I have a land in Mystic Alpines. Will I be able to do my farming stuff normally like people from other lands? Or the cold, snowy region will make it impossible? Great question. Dragoslav, you have an answer for this one?
I would say that yes, I do have. So different regions and are gonna have different properties. So farming is gonna be affected, just like in real world, and some of the regions are gonna be better for farming while others are not. However, this doesn't necessarily mean that, let's say, your Mystic Alpines region is gonna be useless compared to others. Things are gonna be balanced, and that is the short answer, I would say. So you're not gonna be left without anything, and we are gonna be balancing things, and not just like in any way with the first idea that comes to our minds, but something that fits the whole theme, the whole art style, and the lore itself, so that things make sense.
Yeah, like in any really good economy in the game of your choice, you're going to see that things are balanced. There's going to be pros and cons to various aspects of it, and that would be the same. Mystic Alpine's very rich in resources. Could be mining a ton of ore and get lots of goodies there. And then there's going to be other, things where it's not going to be as abundant as other areas of the map. So greenhouses for indoor growing, hey, who says that can't be happening? We'll see what's possible. If there's a buildable structure that is a greenhouse, and that would increase the farming ability, who says we can't do that? That's not something I've thought of before, so I'll put that on our list and see what we can do with that. All right. Let's see, what's the next question? I have an NFT. Okay, that's just a migration question. We have a migration tool, if anybody doesn't know by this point. Migrate.cosmicuniverse.io for all your migration needs. And the next question is, will trained wizards have a bigger role in Dawn of Krypton than untrained wizards? So obviously, people putting the time and effort into training their wizards will concurrently receive rewards based on that. So it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have a bigger role, but you will potentially get bigger rewards. So I think that's the most that I can say about that at this point.
Do you want to point out that a large portion of Dawn of Krypton will be focused on elves, and elves specifically, because this is their time to shine, and wizards have had their opportunity to level and rake in magic for quite some time. So everybody's got to get their fair slot in their character redemption period.
Right. Get your affairs in order and know that, wizards have had so long and they had a lot of great opportunities. They're still going to be in Dawn of Krypton, don't get us wrong. They're going to still be able to, benefit from the in-game rewards. But elves are going to have a greater prominence in Dawn of Krypton. So, and we're going to have we're going to have a special section called Elven Adventures. So that'll be something that is, you'll have like the wizards in one section, and then you'll have the elves benefiting in ways that the wizards already were benefiting from. But there's going to be a much more gamified experience, more gameplay sort of experience that you can have there. So next question is, who is responsible for marketing? If it's Wizzard Blizzard, that's me. Then share your experience to show that you have actually done this before successfully. So marketing, when the going was great in the bull market, we were looking at marketing, and it was before the the crash in crypto in, I think it was June. In May, I started having those conversations with blockchain marketing agencies that have been marketing for like the biggest names you've heard of. And from our conversations, on average, they wanted $50,000 to $100,000, depending on what sort of arrangements you made with them. And that was to be a recurring thing. So these are very big expenses that these agencies ask for. So I was seeing where things were going, and I did not make any agreements with these agencies. And sure enough, that would have been a terrible idea at the time. But we then got really focused on the migration. So the marketing, while we're still in Harmony, just didn't make sense. So we had to put that on pause, minus just our general marketing that we've been doing organically, and wait till we're done and migrated to Avalanche. And now we are, and we have started some marketing. We've partnered up with what we found to be the biggest names on Avalanche, namely Avalanche, which we've been partnered with since really before we were even on Avalanche. We started talking with them in March after I brought up concerns I had about Harmony, which were warranted. It came to be seen as. But Avalanche, Avalanche itself was promoting us when we first migrated, and the man himself, Emin, the founder or creator of Avalanche, also promoted us. So that was really nice to see them step up and help us like that. But more recently, we teamed up with Avexholic, which appeared to be the largest on Twitter project discoverer and promoter of Avalanche-specific projects. But we have also reached out to specific influencers on, I wouldn't call them influencers because that's like, it gets a bad rap, but people who are respected in the Avalanche community on Twitter, and a few of them, and we've been having talks with them, and we're still coming to an agreement as to how to promote Cosmic Universe. But all of this and more, and by all means, share with us your marketing proposals and who you believe, individual or project or organization, that we should collaborate and partner with. That's Avalanche specific. And in the meantime, we're just being very strategic with our marketing budget, because in this market, you can market a whole lot and you're not going to see that much return for it. But what we do want to see is just greater awareness of our project, because I firmly believe our project is really has accomplished a lot at this point as it is. I would say, with the playable game demo and 20,000 fully 3D modeled and animated and rigged assets playable, and everything else that we've been doing is very impressive compared to a lot of other games out there. And when we get the blockchain connected to the pre-alpha in a little bit, that's going to just blow, everything we did before out of the water. So all we need to do is I think it's an awareness issue. The more people that know about us, the more they're just going to be very excited about what this is going to become. Because anybody who is here before the full release, I would consider someone who's here early and someone who's a speculator. Once we get to pre-alpha, I'd say you're still early, but then it's less speculation, because then there's more of a tangible product that's already hooked up to Avalanche, and there's already gameplay, like questing wise, that you'd be able to see in some capacity. So yeah, we're going to be doing that. We don't have a full-time marketing person who has been doing that for their entire lives, but that's something that I have started interviewing for in preparation for when it would be strategic to start an actual full-blown marketing campaign. But that is largely dependent on the market, and I anticipate by November there will be a change in the winds in the markets where that would start making more sense. All right, so the next question is, will Dawn of Krypton be intensive, or will it be more a passive mini game? For intensive, I'm assuming you mean like the game demo is and like what the actual MMO is going to be. As far as that, it's not going to be like that. It's going to be mostly 2D within Unreal Engine to benefit from all the bells and whistles that UE has to help with us, like the leaderboards and what have you. I'm not the technically minded one here, so if Cajun or Drago, if you want to add as to like how the game would be passive or intensive, feel free to take it away.
It's classified as an idle game. So the core story-driven, beautiful design that Rip has made is an idle game in the sense that you do a task, you wait a period, you complete the task. There are other facets with the what is being coined as micro game, since the whole asset is a mini game, where it is as active as you want to play because it'll be versus other users. So that's just multiplayer, right? It wouldn't be intensive, it's just interactive. There's nothing that requires you to get arthritis.
Right. That's not to say that you're not going to need strategy in certain parts of the game while you're playing in that idle game kind of fashion. There will be decisions you need to make, and the outcome of your decision may be different for you than it is for somebody else. So, because we did want to provide some more strategic kind of gameplay rather than just like a lot of idle games, you just click on something and you move on, and it's just like a clicking kind of a repetition process. There'll be some of that, but there also will be strategy. So that's something that I really wanted to see. Another question is there a cooldown period for swapping between wizards and elves in the game? Would a swap constitute a transaction, i.e. spending gas? So that is a very specific question within the game, and I personally don't recall speaking about it, but Cajun, what do you think about, do you have some more insight about when swapping a character, about would there be a transaction on the blockchain?
So logging in as a character is just pointing your wallet to the character that you want to use. So it's not swapping in any sense other than that is your primary driver. So there wouldn't be a transaction for the swapping, but there would be a transaction for logging in, because that starts timestamps and makes sure that we have authoritative servers writing down what steps you've changed, what actions you've made, things that are able to make sure that you are getting the credit that you should get for the actions and achievements and quests that you complete. So although there are going to be many things that are done via blockchain, we have designed it in such a way to where after importing, assuming that you allow it to happen transiently, you can choose to approve each and every transaction, or you can choose to have it allow while your session is active locally for you to sign the transactions on the fly. It can be as seamless as you choose to allow it to be.
Okay, awesome. All right, it looks like it's 10:58 in my time. That went really quick. We have a lot more questions from the looks of it, but we're not going to be here for hours. So what we said in the beginning stands, that we're going to answer all the rest of the questions later on. We will take a couple really quick questions live because we promised that. So we'll do that. But the rest of the questions we'll have in another AMA. Dragoslav will do a video AMA for the technical stuff, and we can answer the rest in the text. So yeah, we're opening up the floor for just a few minutes to any questions someone may have.
Do you want to consider anything after my last docs link to be live? Because that was all of those have been posted since we started.
Oh, well, I didn't get a chance to look at that, but if any questions that you answered were that we didn't get to that were answered by you, then yeah, those are considered answered in that case. I see Freeman has got a question. Step right up, Freeman.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, hello.
Yep, we can hear you.
Yeah, hi everybody. Great AMA. Thank you guys so much. I'm really excited about the project and have been for a while. So, yeah, I asked my question. You know, I was a little late to the AMA, so I figured that I would ask it now. One of my concerns was just, you know, all the folks that are somehow left behind on Harmony. My guess is that they're just either not paying attention or, you know, slow to make the move. You guys built a lot of easy ways to get over, and AVAX has been pretty awesome. So, you know, I was just trying to get an understanding of like, how can we drive awareness to those folks? Like, or how does the team look at that? And is there something the community can be doing? Can the ambassadors be doing something? Like, how do we get after these people to bring them in?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah, take this one.
Yeah, so yeah, we've been shouting from the rooftops on all our platforms to migrate over. And I think, here's what I think. You're never going to get 100% of people migrated over. I think some people just straight up lost access to their wallets. Like, I think there's like 20% of all Bitcoin, is like, people can't get to it. They lost their wallets. So I think there's going to be a certain degree of that. There's a certain degree of people just, once the bear market hit, they were just like, I'm just leaving the space. This is just not good for my mental health. I just need to step away from it. And they're just not checking crypto at all. So, even if they were, we were able to somehow get to them, they may not even care or want to. And then there are like some people maybe who don't know, but they would if they knew. And it's a question of how do you get to those people if they already know our website, they know where we are, our community channels. We can't just go into like the Harmony subreddit and be like, hey, we migrated to Avalanche. They're going to just definitely not accept that. So
we can.
I mean, you can, but they're just going to bad form. So yeah, that's a good question. I don't know how to reach those people except for using Harmony hashtags on Twitter would be one idea that we can do. Just like back in the day when we first started the migration, we were still using the Harmony hashtags to let people know. So that is definitely something we can do, and give people some announcement reminders every now and then on our platforms like Twitter. And then I think we have been making those sort of announcements here and there, and I think that does reach some people because we still see migration happening. I remember a few weeks ago, there were still 40% of all land plots were still on Harmony, and now it's down to 29.5% are still on Harmony. So there are still things getting transferred over as we move forward.
That's encouraging to hear. There isn't a way to notify these folks via Discord by the way they registered on our Discord channel. Is there?
That would assume that every person has. Sorry about that.
No, you go ahead. You're the Discord guru.
That would assume that every person who is on Discord has made it public what their wallet is and the assets that belong. There are a lot of people that still view crypto and their wallet as anonymity when the blockchain is open. So it's a separation of identities, and that is a person's choice. So although they may exist on Discord and they may exist on the blockchain, those two people may not have any sort of connection technically speaking, to where we can derive one from the other.
Yeah, that makes sense. I wasn't sure if there was some kind of, I didn't remember a verification process or something where we might be able to go, okay, well, they came in through Harmony, but I totally hear you. I mean, my question is motivated just to get everybody together, add liquidity, have a bigger party, you know, but I really appreciate all the thought you guys are putting into the migration. So thank you.
If I may add, in general to Freeman's question is, regardless of what blockchain we are at any moment, I'm gonna cover this from gameplay perspective, the game itself, and coming back to 3D NFTs. And this is something that I think, and by the way, this is something like an obvious thing, that our NFTs are much better overall from any other project out there. And I know that this sounds like something, I don't know, false marketing or whatever, I don't know. But we definitely have something that is advanced, something that other multi-billion projects don't have, and that is 3D NFTs, which are playable. And when you buy our NFT, you get to own the actual character inside the game. So, no disrespect, but by buying our characters, our NFTs, you don't own something like a 2D sticker, 2D flat image that frankly you cannot put up to good use, if you ask me. So all those Bored Ape, yacht clubs, degenerates, CryptoPunks, whatever, I mean, they have such a good marketing and branding. I give them props for that, definitely. But when it comes to technological perspective, I know that this sounds crazy because we are not that big as a brand. We are not that popular. But that's something that I'm taking care of, and my team. And why am I saying all of this to Freeman and to all of you guys? 3D NFTs, which are alive, which are dynamic, something that you can spin, something that you can try out. And we are gonna, by the way, we are gonna keep on expanding features when it comes to NFTs. We are not stopping. Those are the things that make this project very unique, regardless of platform, regardless of blockchain, etc. From the perspective of gameplay itself, game itself, that's what makes it special from that side.
Yeah, we really want to have an edge in the blockchain gaming space. And first and foremost, make a game that's actually fun, even if there wasn't any blockchain integration into it. And then beyond that, having very unique advantages and benefits compared with other games in the space so that we can stand out. So yeah, it's like it is a big endeavor. It's a work in progress, but I think everybody can see over the past year or so that we've been continuously developing and coming out with new things that are improving on what came before. And we're going to keep doing that because we're in it to win it.
Let's get one more person.
Yeah, we'll get one more person. I know it's past 2 a.m. for Drago, but if anyone else has a live question, we'll take one more. Perko, step right up. So I think you need to unmute your mic, Perko. We'll let you get that sorted out. There you go.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Yes, we can. Doing good.
I was just wondering, with the 30% of the land plots that are still yet to be migrated from Harmony, is that going to create any issues with the continuity of the gameplay once it's up and running? Because you're going to obviously have like dead zones. Is that going to be an issue if they never sort of migrate? Are you going to have some problems integrating that into the game?
And for continuity, just for clarity, you mean visual, just large patches of nothing next to large patches of developed land?
Yeah.
Awesome. Drago.
Basically, shouldn't be a problem because there are already areas which are destined to be public. So just like in real life, if you have a lot of free space around your own house, your own plot, some people like it, some people don't. From gameplay perspective, that doesn't block us, and we might be able to get creative on that side of things. I can give you an example, something like, hey, if someone's land plot was idle for way too long, we can add something that is visually representing that, maybe like a large group of trees growing there. I don't know. I'm not stating that this is our plan. I'm just giving an idea what we could do, something that would make things visually more pleasing and something to get more creative. But from gameplay perspective, I don't think that it is a showstopper whatsoever.
Okay, cool. Thanks for that.
Thank you.
There's a lot of stuff.
I'd like to. I was just going to say that could actually be something that people are wanting to see. Like, that could be a net positive for people, because, like Drago said, some people don't want to just be next door to all like the rowdy people, you know, doing whatever they're going to be doing there, and they just want some peace and quiet, just a cabin in the woods, you know, in their whimsical home, in their, you know, in just like the forest somewhere. And if there's a lot of empty spaces around, they may want to actually identify a land plot, purchase it, because all the others are just don't exist on Avalanche, and that would be actually an appealing factor for them. So there's definitely, I think, things that can be done, and it can be turned into an advantage. Were you going to say something, Cajun?
Oh, just from a design perspective, if it's feasible in Unreal Engine, there could be a toggle only local to you in settings where you choose to either have the default option or one of X number of randomized overgrown foliage to cover any undeveloped plot completely, so that you can choose how immersive your experience is.
Yeah, we could definitely have that. As long as we have data from blockchain which we can access, for example, is it developed or not, just like you said, yeah, we can do all kinds of visual stuff.
Yeah, so long story short, it's not an issue. It's not going to negatively affect gameplay if there's land plots that people haven't transferred over to Avalanche from Harmony.
Yep.
All right. It's 11:12 here, my time. I think we should wrap it up. Thanks everybody for coming and submitting your questions. We really do want to answer all of them, and there was a lot of great questions. There's still more to answer, but we'll do that at another time. And we're going to have a recording of this AMA. We're going to whip it up and make it into a video and put it up on our YouTube channel and share the links to that. So thanks again, and thanks for sticking out this market. And we have a lot of exciting things coming. We're continuously moving forward with our plans, and we look forward to sharing the next offerings that we're going to have with you. So thanks again, and we'll catch you guys in the chats.